One of the last things we want to talk about is some of the instruments that you need in the greenhouse to keep track of your climate, because if you know what the climate has been the last 24 hours, you'll know what your plants have been subjected to. So the number one thing is the temperature. You know, what's the temperature been? So here's a very inexpensive minimum maximum thermometer. It's got pointers. The red thermometer will push the high and the low pointers, and they'll stick at whatever the high and low temperature was. So when you look at that, you'll know what the temperature range has been since you last looked at it. Now this is the very basic one. If you like, there are wireless digital units now, and they're only about $30, that you can put a wireless transmitter in the greenhouse that sends the temperature to your dock in your house. And so when you get up and have coffee in the morning, you can look at it and you'll know what the temperature's been overnight in the greenhouse. One step farther, the unit sends a signal to your cell phone, or you can call it up with your cell phone and know exactly what's been going on. These new little soil meters are really cool. They've got a built-in library, a digital library built in, so you can scroll down and find the plant you're working with, and it'll tell you what the pH of the soil should be for that plant. So there's a lot in these little meters now. So this is a rapid test soil and pH meter. So this is a light meter, relatively inexpensive, but this is a good way to evaluate the light level in your greenhouse during the winter months to see whether or not you've got enough light for your plants, or how far you can set your plant from the light and it will still receive the adequate light that the plant needs during the winter months. So if you've got a light meter, then you're pretty well will know what your plant is getting or not getting. And you can separate your plants, put your green leafy plants farther away, and put the plants that need the higher light levels closer to your light source. And these come with a little booklet with a couple hundred plants and directions on their light requirements. Water meter is also very important. More plants are killed by overwatering than anything else. So having a water meter that you can just stick into the soil and get a reading, it's very handy, especially when you have a lot of plants and you just want to water quickly and check what the general level is. You probably get into a routine of watering each plant depending on the size of the pot, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and moving around. But before you start, you know, you take a couple samples to find out what the water level is in the soil. And of course, that does vary. The reading will vary depending on the soil too, and how much moisture the soil will hold. So, and that varies, like if it's cactus or if it's an orchid, or if it's annuals, it's going to be a different water level. But that's just something you learn. The other essential would be a soil thermometer. When people are propagating plants, it's important to know what the soil temperature is. Now, a lot of people will propagate the plants, get their flat started in their home, because your air temperature in the home is going to be 68, 70 degrees. So that's all that most seeds need to germinate. But if it's out in the greenhouse and the air temperature is generally 50, 55, you want to make sure that that heat mat that's warming up the soil is bringing that soil temperature up to 70 degrees. So a little miniature thermometer with a dial with a rod on them, stick that into the soil, and that tells you what the soil temperature is. You can't put your hand on the soil and know if it's 70 degrees because your hand's warmer than that. So soil is always going to feel cool to your hand. So it's important to have a little soil thermometer when you're doing your propagation.